option. Principles like that, quarterback that's carrying the ball, misdirection the ball.
Now that you've gone back and you've been able to watch the tape, how do you feel like your defense did considering 3 quarterbacks, multiple formations, different packages, quarterbacks in on the same drive? Everything was thrown out.
I thought there was a lot of precise execution, discipline for a good part of the game. And as wide as the widest and deep as the deepest, there's a few exceptions. And they do a great job at manipulating it. Thank goodness we had a long time to prepare for them. They can give you a lot. But really pleased with our effort, just overall execution, just how hard they played, how hard they competed. And for a lot of guys that was their first start, they really played discipline. That's just not normal. And for first time starters, typically as consistent as they were.
14. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, 14 tackles for loss exceed your expectations, or did you think you guys
I
could get
don't ever really
strong
go in and think that there has to be a barometer for how well we played. Obviously, I think you're playing well, you're playing aggressive, you're playing good technique when you're playing on their side of the line scrimmage. We preach that as a philosophy. Nobody wants to play in their own backyard. You always want to go in the neighbor's backyard to play, right? And when you are, it's just a lot more fun. And so that's kind of Dan Brooks' way to sell it to his guys, jump the fence and go play in their yard. So I think that looking back now, that's indicative of really knowing what to do and trusting each other, again, playing aggressive and attacking. If you're not having success, you're not going to have those stats to back it up and to validate a good performance. So really happy though, again, for as many moving parts as there were in the front seven in particular, to have. I do think that's reflective of guys really feeling confident about knowing what to do.
You talk about that second to last Hail Mary. Probably didn't have the guys in the position he wanted, but Jadar made a really good play on the ball, and also talk about Jadar's game in general. Other than that one.
Yeah, we obviously didn't do a very good job, preparing those guys for I don't know if we probably caught off guard and threw him in the end zone on that particular play. They're some kind of mid-level route, but that being said, that's not the position you want to be in that situation. So we could probably have managed the entirety of that drive. Probably would have improved a few things. But I didn't think that we practiced that drive, not this week per se, but this situation a few times in fall camp, and really felt like fundamentally, I think some guys tried to do things that we did not execute very well with the calls that were there, and we had some real fundamental basic breakdowns, and that's not to say they wouldn't have had the same result, but we did some things that we can't do, and how we were playing a couple of schemes, we did a poor job of execution, so we got to definitely clean some of those things up.
Dennis said he apologized to a number of guys for not getting to play more. Who are some of the guys that you would have liked to have seen get in there?
I almost emptied the bench in my position, so I don't know. There's some guys that you'd like to have in a situation in the game. Sometimes again, we see things we watch every play multiple times at every practice, and we're constantly quizzing our guys. The checks and balances of who's ready to play, who isn't, all the way up to game time. So sometimes, we remember those things during the course of a very tight game, and we're on some short fields, and a lot of sudden change, and a lot of tempo. So that just happens sometimes. But hopefully, we'll continue. I thought we played a lot of guys. We did, and there's a few more guys that we'd like to have gotten out there. Hopefully, we will.
Was it part of the game plan to play Jalen Williams in the nickel, but they moved him out of the box so much, it seems like it really affected the pre-snap reads for Auburn quite a bit.
I'm not sure about for them, but I was, Jalen had an excellent fall camp and really good spring, and has really earned our trust. And there's a lot to say for guys that know what to do. He's a good football player. Some of the things that he lacks in size and speed, he plays fast. And he's a tackler. He can cover. He can play in space. And, there can be some mismatches at times, but we're still trying to develop, our defense and the different packages. And going into that first game, under the circumstances, really felt like he was best suited to handle that role. And I think we have some other guys that we're going to continue to try to develop there as well. But I like his ability to do multiple things, creates opportunities for him, and I think it really helps us. And he may not make a play, but he's not giving up a big play either. And he graded 82% for the game and whatever 38 plus snaps. So that's good, and I would rather win with that than a guy that maybe be a little more productive that's graded at 50%. 50% is going to beat you.
Is it his versatility that allows you to be able to play him in that spot? Because it seemed like I said in the game he was moving in and out of the box so much it created havoc with those guys on the pre-snap read. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He was coming from deep safety out the linebacker.
Savviness, to answer your question, there's savviness. He's got a very confident understanding of what we're doing, what we're trying to show, and where we need to be. It's one thing to say, hey, do this and this, and then another, they get out there and they freak out and they don't know the timing of it. They don't have an instinctual feel for it. And then now that you've challenged the integrity of the call defensively, and or they just show their hand right away. Say you're playing man-to-man on the slot, and you just go in, you line right up on his nose as soon as you come out. Well, everybody's, that's well-schooled and coached and well-versed and checking the sideline, and the quarterback's getting a pre-snap read, and you just show your hand because, God, I just gotta cover my guy. Then that can create problems for you too. And so guys that have a good feel for it, and hey, I know where I got to be. I know what I'm trying to show, and I'm setting this up for later. Jalen has that good feel, and so does that cause problems? I'm sure it does to a certain degree. And we're multiple in what we do, and that helps when we can do that.
After watching him practice for a month, is that pretty much what you expected to see out of Dexter Lawrence when he's throwing the fire like that?
He probably was a little bit better. I mean, he was very impressive all camp. Had some lows during camp. We had an off day, but the play where he makes the sack, I think, was a super athletic play. That because of the quick whistles, and we're not tackling the quarterback, you don't always know. But in practice, what he would have done there, and what an athletic play that was. So just a little bit exceeded expectations, not much.
Kendall talked about playing downhill, how comfortable he is there. It seems like you have a lot of guys at linebacker that like to do that.
That was fun to watch. I think Kendall he put on and I thought overall the group played really pretty well. I just like the movement and the fits, getting off the blocks. Auburn does a great job at creating leverage and blocking you. That's why they've been so successful at running the football on people because of pre-snap formations and then motions. They create leverage. This game's all about leverage. And you got to have some really good technicians, excellent footwork. They're running a guy by here and running the ball here, but they're flying a motion here. What happens, and the guys that haven't played or they're inexperienced or they lack instincts, they want to run over here and see if you gave it to that guy. Then they want to come back. Well, by then, you got some 320-pound monster in your face blocking you. And Kendall's got a good feel for things and a handle on how we're going to defend things and the technique that it takes to be able to cross the face of a guy that benches 450 and weighs 320. That takes leverage and hand placement. You got to be violent. And after you get off the block, you also have to make the play. And he played really well, really clean. It's good to see.
How do you use that and kind of tweak it a little bit, knowing they may have to drop into coverage a little more this week when the team's going to throw it?
Oh yeah, I think it's a much different animal. Yeah, they're two different planets. They do want to spread you out to run at those well, and their success is predicated on their ability to run the ball effectively. And throw it, 50 times, they need to run it effectively 25 times. And so it may not be 50-50 balance in, how they're handing it off to pass attempts, but they need to run it effectively. So it is, so the techniques are different, the formations are different, but the fundamentals don't change. And he's got coverage responsibilities. We got to do a good job, and we do have to continue to get better there. From just looking from a year ago, if you get your key gives you high hat, I don't want you running up the field. Those guys can't cover guys like that. You got to, coverage is pressure. It's underneath. It's not just the secondary. Not to, I need to give anybody a clinic on what coverage is. But it all ties in hand to hand. And if you're effectively stopping them in the run game, then you're probably going to be better in coverage because they're more predictable. You're not guessing is it run or pass. So we've got to do a good job of controlling the effectiveness of the run game and our pass coverage techniques, whether we're in man-to-man or we're in zone concept, definitely need to continue to improve. We're definitely not where we need to be that way.
Defensive ones here, what did it say about those guys that they went to all the formula they did against them to get on this?
Well, again, Christian being his new starter, their defensive end, Cleveland, Dexter, those guys being new guys that you're referencing, and then getting registered and Jurgen in there as well. I think that Marion and Dan Brooks have done an incredible job helping those guys grow up quickly and providing them the knowledge and the tools that they need to play fast and confident. It just doesn't happen. You don't luck into that. I think that takes the players' work, their understanding, their willingness to be coached, and it takes good coaches that functionally can give them tools to be successful. You have to help them, and it's not just yelling at them and running through the bags. You got to have functional drills that help their performance on game day, and I think those guys are as good as there is in the business. And I think it's one to tout them, but I think their track record speaks for itself.
Who does looking at a lot of new starters, what kind of a positive impact do you see moving forward? If they right out of the gates, they won a tough game on the road, had to make plays at the end of the game to win it. So.
I think at a lot of levels, I'm hopeful. I think that we're hard on them. We demand a lot. We coach them hard. I think that validates what we've been asking of them. And I think having a little success, they're like, oh, I'd like to be coached hard. I like you demand a lot. It's easier for them to come to work and to go and compete. It's easier for them to listen. And I just think it validates what you're saying, what you're asking them to do. I think it increases trust. I think it improves chemistry as a unit.